Game of Thrones has just ended, so I just wanted to do a review on seasons 1 through 7. So just to give a backstory of how I got into Game of Thrones, I'm not a huge fan of the whole medieval genre. I actually never watched seasons 1 through 7 when they were being released. So I had a couple of friends tell me about the show, and I also had an old boss at an old job tell me about the show as well. So it wasn't until the final season was coming out that I decided to watch the entire series. Well, I was able to get it done, and how do I feel about the show? I love it. Yeah, I love Game of Thrones. It's awesome. So what can I say that hasn't already been said about the Game of Thrones? I mean, the show has the best character development and arcs that I've ever seen in a television show. The show's story is complex. I mean, they have multiple storylines going on at the same time, and I mean multiple storylines. But they're able to balance it so well that it doesn't feel crowded or too much for you. It's not like that other show that can't figure out how to balance storylines. Basically, there's people that want to rule Westeros and want to sit on the Iron Throne. That's the main goal for many of the characters, like Daenerys or Stannis Baratheon. Then there are other characters who are trying to get their leaders on the throne, or plotting revenge, or plotting some betrayal. Okay, so first off, let's talk about the negatives that I have with the show. Let's get back to that later in the video. So let's talk about the positives. I love the politics, super interesting. The battle scenes, I mean, these action scenes could be a part of movies, they're so good. And another thing that I like about the show, it just looks really good. It looks beautiful. Whoa! Sorry, that's the wrong clip. Guys, we need the Game of Thrones clip, please. Go back to Game of Thrones. There we go, back to Game of Thrones. Okay, like I was saying, the landscape's beautiful, cinematography of the show, amazing. Alright, so let's talk about the negatives that I have with the show. To be honest, I really had to think about what I thought were negatives. I really liked the show, so there's not really much things that I thought were wrong. Yeah, when I was watching the show for the first time, there were some issues that I did have, but they were resolved after I kept watching more and more of the show. For example, I hated the fact that the Starks kept on losing throughout the show. For example, Ned dies, Catelyn dies, Robb dies, Winterfell gets taken over. So at one point I was just like, okay, I know they're losing, but can they win a few sometimes? But if you've seen the show, you know it pretty much works out all in the end, so we're good in that part. There were two storylines that I wasn't a big fan of. While they were going on, I was kind of bored of them. For example, when Arya trained with those assassins that followed the faceless god or something like that, yeah, I was getting bored of that storyline. I mean, it served a purpose. Like, Arya was able to use that power for the killings that she did earlier in the show, so it's important. However, I think it lasted a little bit longer than I wanted it to. However, like I said, it did serve a purpose in the show, so I give it a pass. Another storyline that I had an issue with was with High Sparrow and his followers. It was cool to see Cersei have issues within her kingdom, but I got tired of the storyline and I got tired of those characters. One redeemable thing about that storyline is how it ends. And yep, I'm talking about this scene where Cersei is supposedly on trial for her sins and she doesn't show up. Everyone's wondering why she's not showing up, and then this happens. Yeah, High Sparrow. I hope y'all burn in hell. Yeah, but like I was saying, really good scene. A good ending to this scene. So, because of that, I think that it's redeemable, the storyline. Cersei's such a bad A. But yeah, don't have an issue with that anymore. I did it while I was watching the show, but not anymore. So yeah, like I was saying, the issues that I had with the show are no longer issues because they served a purpose. I had to really think about it, and I guess I came up with one negative that I had with the show, and it's sometimes the show kind of goes too far. For example, Ramsay's and Sansa's wedding night involving Theon. Yeah, I'm not even going to go into that, but yeah, that went far. Another one was with Ramsay again, with his torture of Theon. That went a little too far, I think. But I think the scene that went too far for me was the Red Wedding. Don't get me wrong, it is a great scene. However, it's just bad. First of all, they kill Robb's wife, pregnant wife, in the most gruesome way possible. Then they kill Rob, and then they kill Caitlin. Oh, but it doesn't end there. In the next episode, they cut off Rob's head, they cut off the head of his direwolf, and then they sew the direwolf's head onto Rob's body. And then his sister sees that. Like, that image haunted me.
What is wrong with you people?
What is wrong with you people?
What the hell is wrong with you people?
But other than that, I don't really have other negatives that I have. I'm pretty sure other people can find issues, but for me, that was it. In conclusion, I enjoyed the show. I thought it was great. If you haven't seen the show and watched this video, I pretty much ruined a couple of things, but still, anyway, watch the show. So watch out for my next videos that will review Season 8. I will be making them shortly. See you guys later.